In today's Explainer, we're going to roll up our sleeves and diagnose the psychological money traps that might be keeping you secretly stressed out, even as your income keeps growing. We're drawing on some absolutely brilliant insights from financial psychology, specifically looking at the work of Morgan Housel, to break down exactly why making more money doesn't always magically equal peace of mind. Let's get to work. So let me ask you something right off the bat. Is your money using you, or are you using your money? Are you actually in control of your wealth, or is it kind of dictating your behavior behind the scenes? We always think earning more is the ultimate fix, right? But without the right mindset, a higher income just turns up the volume on our hidden insecurities. Today, we're going to diagnose 3 massive financial pitfalls that could be sabotaging your peace. Okay, let's dive right into it. Trap number 1, the prove it trap. Morgan Housel notes that people who grow up facing financial hardship often fall into this really dangerous cycle. They start using wealth as a trophy, just to prove their past no longer exists. Take Housel's neighbor, for instance. He grew up poor, was bullied, and eventually forced his daughter into the world's most expensive college purely as a flex, to prove he wasn't poor anymore. Or consider David Siegel. The guy built a staggering 90,000 square foot house in Florida. When someone asked him why, his answer had nothing to do with making family memories. It was simply, because I can. Think about that. When you buy a screwdriver, you buy it to hang a picture of your family. It's a tool. But when your reason for a massive purchase is just because I can, well, that's the ultimate red flag of toxic spending. You aren't buying utility anymore. You're literally trying to heal a childhood wound with a price tag. At that point, money is using you. The absolutely crucial step here is catching yourself when this happens. So let's look at this trigger worksheet for diagnosing your spending. I want you to treat this as a piece of homework. The next time you're staring down a major purchase, run it through these 4 questions. Number 1, am I buying this to heal a past wound? 2, would I still buy this if absolutely no one knew its price where I came from? 3, does this just prove I'm not poor anymore? And 4, will this actually improve my daily life? You've got to be brutally honest with yourself here. This worksheet is your very first line of defense. So how do we go about escaping the prove it trap? Here are the steps. Step 1, name the feeling before spending. Look, when someone has been underwater and they finally hit the surface, they don't just take a normal breath, they gasp for air. If you were deprived in childhood, you are going to gasp for luxury now. Just recognize that's what's happening. Step 2, separate the success symbol from the price tag. Remember, you are successful regardless of what you buy. And step 3, watch the values you transmit to your kids. If your spending habits are quietly teaching them that cheap means useless, you're passing down a deeply flawed value system. All right, moving on to trap number 2, the never spend trap. This is where the whole concept of compounding actually turns into a psychological cage. Think of a young Warren Buffett or billionaire Shelby Davis, who famously refused to buy his grandson a $1 burger because in his mind, that dollar invested today could be $1,000 in the future. We really need to look at hoarding wealth versus using wealth wisely. Hoarding is driven by what we call frugality inertia. You get so incredibly used to saving that you literally lose the guts to spend. You feel intense anxiety over losing a single dollar because deep down, you're terrified of returning to poverty. Using wealth wisely, on the other hand, means recognizing when you've actually won the game. It's treating money as a functional tool to maximize your life quality and buy peace of mind, rather than letting it become a terrible master that keeps you locked in fear. To break out of this, we're calculating your safe discretionary limit. Step 1, calculate your financial freedom baseline. Tally up your essential fixed costs, add your non-negotiable savings goals, and whatever is left over is your safe, guilt-free discretionary limit. Step 2, keep your identity small. Yes, you save money, but you aren't just a saver trapped in a cage. Don't let the label consume you. And step 3, this is a big one, schedule deliberate practice spends. Start small. Literally force yourself to spend a calculated amount each month on something purely enjoyable. You have to actively teach your brain that you are out of danger and you aren't going broke. And that brings us to trap number 3, the social debt trap. It's crazy, but a lot of newly wealthy individuals don't go bankrupt because they bought a bunch of fancy cars. They go broke from the invisible, crushing weight of social obligations. $18 million. That was the contract signed by NBA star Antoine Walker back in 1999. His coach told him he'd never have to worry about money again. But just a few years later, he filed for bankruptcy. Why? Well, Morgan Housel points out that when athletes sign these massive contracts, it suddenly feels like it isn't just their money. It's their parents' money, their cousins' money, their friends' money. Alongside his own unchecked spending, Walker was paying salaries to 35 friends and family members who did zero actual work. He bought his mom a massive house with 10 bathrooms. When the dust settled, his debts massively overshadowed his remaining assets. Which leads to a really harsh reality check. Are you spending out of guilt or a genuine desired help? Social debt whispers that because people supported you back in the day, you owe them endless financial favors now that you've made it. But listen to me on this. If you are funding family and friends entirely out of toxic guilt, you will never be able to say no. And eventually, you're going to drag yourself and everyone depending on you right back to the bottom. So here are the steps for setting boundaries with friends and family. This is your playbook. Step 1. Set the budget and the circle in advance. Decide exactly how much you can give globally per year before anyone even asks. Step 2. Put a gap between you and stupid. Saying yes to everything is a fast track to ruin. You've got to learn to firmly say no, relying totally on the budget you just built in Step 1. Step 3. Go quiet, rich, and anonymous. The more you show off your wealth, the more social debt you attract. True wealth is often silent. Okay, let's look at your financial action plan. You now have the diagnostic tools, the worksheets, and the exact blueprints you need to break these habits. So I leave you with this final thought. Are you finally ready to take control of your wealth? You've seen the traps, you know the steps, you absolutely possess the capability to change these deeply ingrained patterns. Now it's time to put these frameworks into action and transition your money from a master you fear into a tool that builds your ideal life. Take these strategies, use them, and go take back your financial peace of mind. See you next time.